Good morning, everybody. We have a higher trade in the grain markets here on Friday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. July corn futures up 9 1/4 at 7.28. December corn up 11 3/4 at 6.37 1/4. July soybeans up 12 cents at 15.81 1/2. November soybeans up 19 1/4 at 14.28 1/4. July Chicago wheat up 10 3/4 at 7.64. July Kansas City wheat up 10 1/2 at 7.37 1/4. New crop spring wheat prices traded above $8 for the first time this morning, so new highs there. Very, very strong action here. If you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, thank you. Appreciate it. Leave me a review if you have not already. Would love to hear any feedback that you might have. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'm really trying to get to that 2,000 subscriber mark. We're sitting at about 1,800 and change. I would love to try to do that here the next couple of months. And hit the like button to help YouTube to spread these videos around. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner for $49 a month. I will send you all my information. I've got a newsletter that I write every morning. It goes out at 6:30 a.m. Central Time every business day. You'll be added to that list. You'll be added to my text message list. You'll get my subscriber-only videos and content, which are going out now, I think, about 4 times per week. All sorts of different info regarding cash grain sales, marketing, capture and carry, that sort of stuff. Any sort of consulting that you might need. This is a monthly subscription that can be canceled at any time. There's no other fee, no trading account required, nothing like that. Certainly check that out, guys. To get started in the headlines here this morning, I'll start off with Brazil again, which is still dry. Key corn growing areas in Brazil slated to remain dry for at least another 2 weeks. There's no real relief in sight here this morning, again, aside from maybe some peripheral areas. The market, in my opinion, like I've said here earlier this week, I think is in the process of discounting like a worst case scenario. Just as recently as a week ago or so, I thought maybe they were pricing in something near 100 million metric tons. I think that they're pricing in something lower than that, something 95, maybe sub 95, depending on who you ask. So USDA in all likelihood will adjust its Brazilian corn number lower next week, as will CONAB. They both have reports out next week. I think that both of those numbers will be old news by the time that they're printed, unless they really make a hugely substantial cut, like much larger than what the trade expects. So I think we're already trading a very, very low number there, or we're in the process of discounting it. I don't think USDA is going to be telling us anything new next week. Export sales were kind of soft last week. Old crop corn sales were down 74% on the week and down 72% from the prior 4-week average at just 137,000. New crop corn sales soft at just 106. Old crop soybean sales only 165. That was down 44% on the week. New crop bean sales only 193. Net reductions of 96,000 for old crop wheat. New crop wheat sales okay at about 400. So are we finally seeing some rationing here via exports with a weak-looking sales report last week? That's possible, but 1 week doesn't make a trend. We'll see if this sort of stuff continues. The Chinese government says that it will take steps to promote grain output and boost grain security. Minimum purchase price programs for wheat and rice will be used to help stabilize prices there, and then they're going to increase subsidies for corn and soybean growers. So there's, for months now, we've heard this talk from a lot of governments around the world about boosting food security, increasing production, that sort of thing. China, no different. Dryness in Argentina has begun to hurt grain exports a little bit. This is not a news story, but a continuing story. Key waterways are low due to lack of rain. So these vessels carrying grain are being forced to reduce capacity, essentially. So the dry weather down there is a double-edged sword. I mean, harvest is moving very quickly, but at the same time, logistics may become an issue. Argentina is the third largest exporter of corn. They're the world's largest exporter of soybean meal. Export prices for corn out of Argentina are substantially lower than what the U.S. can offer currently, so that's certainly something to take into account. The World Food Price Index is at its highest level since 2014. This is something that the FAO, that's the Food and Agriculture Organization, puts together on a monthly basis. This index, which tracks world food prices essentially, has risen for 11 consecutive months. It's up 11.4% so far in 2021. It's up 31% versus the same month last year, and it's up 27% versus its average in 2019. So I have a chart here of that I will show you if I can find it. It's no surprise, I suppose, that world food prices are rising. That should not be a surprise, but you've got to kind of think about like what are the potential implications of this. Governments around the world may again, and we've already seen a lot of this the last several months, may again try to take measures to either like reduce exports or increase production. There's all sorts of things that could happen. Honestly, I'm surprised that we haven't heard more of like food versus fuel debate type stuff here in the U.S. Maybe that's something that's forthcoming, but certainly noteworthy here that food prices are rising sharply. So up 11.5% year to date, up 31% year over year. If this doesn't just scream inflation, I don't know what does. But we're still not back to like 2010, 2011, 2012 type levels. We could be there really soon if this sort of pace continues, however. In other headlines here this morning, new crop corn prices continue to gain on new crop soybean prices. So your NOV 21 soybean versus DEES 21 corn ratio, 2.26 to 1 this morning. That's the lowest in that ratio for these new crop 2021 contracts since like spring of last year. So there's a lot of chatter circulating regarding a drastic increase in corn acreage, especially versus March intentions. Because of that. I mean, the weather has been generally favorable, which allows for early planting. That could spell more corn. Plus, the prices are kind of steering producers, I think, toward more corn. There's been a lot of chatter about this, so we'll see where we end up. Cattle market had a decent day yesterday, finished higher. Cash cattle still like 119 at best yesterday. I think we'll see if we can maybe improve on that here today. In the outside markets, we've got the S&P up 9 or 10 points. The Dow's up 90, strong trade there. Gold's up $4, silver down a little bit. U.S. dollars down just marginally. Crude oil is down 11 cents, 64.61. The bonds are down just a few ticks. Everybody have a really nice weekend. I will talk to you on Monday.